Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Anthony with Edge on Regenerative Medicine. We have another fantastic show today, and I'm really excited. I'm going to tell you guys why. We have a special treat and guest for you today. This is Dr. Chris Zaino. How you doing, doctor?
Doing great. Thank you, Mark, and everybody's watching. I appreciate you guys.
Oh, no, definitely. And here's the cool thing, guys. If you'd like to get more about Dr. Chris Zaino, which I know you will want to right after this, if you go to Renew Life, rejuve.com. You can find him there. He's out of the Woodland, Texas area. And today we're going to be talking about a great subject, why regenerative medicine doctors and chiropractors are so needed right now in this time. Now, everyone that's on, I know everyone's jumping on right now. I just want to thank everybody on Facebook, Instagram, and all the social media links out there. Make sure that you're caring, you're sharing. Sharing is caring. And remember this, my friends. Sharing one video can change one person's life. Even though if you're not in pain, by you sharing this, you can help somebody else in need. So again, thank you so much, Dr. Chris, for being here. And before we get into about why regenerative and chiropractic, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came into regenerative medicine chiropractic.
Right. So back in 1998, I won Mr. America. Looked a certain way, cover of magazines. It was living in Orlando, Florida, so I had my degree in exercise physiology, and I was training a lot of celebrities at Universal Studios Florida. I had a really, really amazing career. I enjoyed it, and then I believed at that point, Mark Anthony, that health was how you look or how you felt. And I think a lot of people watching this, we've been raised to believe that MAP, M-A-P. So if we just base our health on how we look or how we feel, if we look okay, we're healthy. If we feel decent, I guess we're healthy. But I realized very shortly that was not the right map or the accurate account of what health was. Because in a few years, I was having digestive issues, getting worse and worse. And I wound up getting diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. It's an incurable autoimmune disease that actually your body attacks and eats the colon from the inside out. I went to the best doctors in the country. I was put on harsh medications and chemotherapies, and nothing was working. I went from about 230 pounds all the way down to 158 pounds in 3.5 months. And the only option, because none other drugs were working, was to take out my entire colon. So that was my only option.
Wow.
Take out your colon, but a lot of things come with that. Number two, I was on so many immunosuppressants, they didn't think I would survive the surgery, but there was no other option. They said due to the medication I was on, I was completely sterile. I'd never been without children. They said I'd be on if I do survive, I'll be on $6,000 worth of medication for the rest of my life per month. And they don't even know how long I would be in ICU. I mean, it was a disaster. And so a lot of people are faced with something very similar to this in some way, shape, or form when it comes to their health. And even though, during a time like that, you realize that your health is the greatest blessing and truly the only foundational goal you should have in life is to be healthy, as people find themselves in a position where it looks like there's no more hope. And I really became a victim over it because I was told by top doctors there was nothing else you could do. And so my mom at the time, she already lost two sons at this point. She lost my dad. And so she sends out that prayer email like most moms would do.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Right? And my anatomy teacher from 10th grade, my sophomore year in high school, saw it, says, Chris, when you come into town, I want you to go see my doctor. He's a corrective care chiropractor. Now, my view of chiropractic was not terrific nor negative. I just didn't understand what it was. I thought it was more of like a massage modality, right? Some type of like, palliative.
What's the chiropractor going to do?
Yeah. What's like, I don't have a back pain. I don't have a neck pain. I have an irreversible, incurable disease of a digestive system in my body and an immune system issue of my body. So how's rubbing my back going to help, right? So that was my I was in my ignorance.
Right.
Because most chiropractors, they were always for neck and back pain. I didn't understand how this would help. I had a chiropractor would tape up my ankle when I played sports. They were on the field. No one took the time to tell me what it really was. And I went to this doctor and he just sat down and he told me truly what it was, that it's not about back or neck pain. It's all about keeping the spine in a proper position so all the messages from the brain could flow through your spinal cord, out the nerves, to provide life to every organ, cell, and tissue of your body, based on the philosophy that the body doesn't need help, it just needs no interference, that the same wisdom that created you from 2 cells to 70 trillion cells in your mother's womb, That same intelligence that made your entire body didn't leave you when you were born. It's in you. And I think we were all distracted by that fact that the only and the most accurate, reliable source of getting well and functioning correctly is not outside of us. So I searched the world basically for the answer, and the whole entire time it was hiding behind my eyeballs. It was in my brain. And you know, it's never the things you know about that get you. It's always the things you don't know about. So he took pictures of my spine. I'm like, but I don't have back pain. But when I saw my spine, it was trash. My lower back was like, looked like a train wreck.
Wow.
Sports, who knows, right? The first bone that protects your brainstem on the bottom of your skull, there was 50% pressure on that. That leads to all the autonomic systems of the body, immune system, heart rate, you know, all these other things you don't think about. So I got to see these blind spots, these things I didn't know about. And I said, well, when am I going to get better? And this is why I chose this, because this doctor had zero bedside manner, but he told me the truth. And he says, listen, as long as that damage is in there, the information from your brain is being interfered with. So therefore, your body's not in the right environment, or those organs are not in the right environment to heal themselves as they were created to. And he points at me, he goes, but when you correct the problem that you have that's affecting your life and your future, and you choose to do that and remove that interference, then your body will be in the environment to be able to heal itself. And he goes, but the day and the hour that you're asking me, because I wanted a pseudo savior. A lot of times when we're not feeling well, we want someone else to save us. Doc, when am I going to get better? When am I going to feel better? So we're putting all our faith in someone outside of us. We're trying to, that's what I say, a pseudo savior. And then he points at me, he's like, you know, the day and the hour you're asking me, he's like, it's not up to me. He's like, it's up to you and your body. He goes, but you will get better if you don't quit on yourself. Watch this, no matter how long it takes.
I love it.
And it was so honest. No one gave me that honest answer. I was told, well, when you do this drug, you'll get better. Whoops, sorry about that. When you do this drug, you'll get better. Oops, sorry, we need to counteract that. Like I was given so much false hope. And eventually they're like, well, when we take out your colon, you can't have colitis. Colitis only affects the colon. So therefore you wouldn't have, it'd be impossible to get it. And part of my friendship would almost be like saying like, if we remove your asshole, you wouldn't have hemorrhoids anymore. You know what I mean? It's just like, it was ridiculous. And when I heard that, I was scared. So I realized that it was about looking to the cause of your problem. And when he says, you know, you will get better no matter how long it takes, because it was very easy. I think a lot of us, we put a time on something, and we base this time factor off of nothing. We just said, well, I'll give this 3 weeks. It's like, well, where'd I get that from? I don't know. Because we feel in 3 weeks, there was enough time, enough money, and enough effort. Therefore, I should have this certain result. So we start to make up this stuff in our mind when it comes to our health, even though it could have took us 5, 10, 15, for some of you, 30 years to get to the point you're at. And I realize, and I always tell people, when it comes to expectations, always 10x it. You know, so if you think it's going to take 3 months, it's going to take 30. If you're going to think it's going to take 3,000, just say 30. Like, always raise the expectations of how long it takes so you don't quit early. I find a lot of people quit early when it comes to their health because they think it should have happened quicker. We're very impatient. And so I went on, man. You know, I wish I could tell you I was positive and I was happy. No, I was scared. Imagine seeing yourself bleed 15 times a day. And but 3 months later, I was off half the medication. 5 months later, I was off all the medication. And 7 months later, my body, there was no more blood, and my body healed itself from an incurable terminal disease called ulcerative colitis. And my main blind spot was there was damage in my nervous system, interference in my nervous system, in my spine that I didn't know about for years, that was shutting and quenching life and intelligence off to those organs. So when a part of your body does not function optimally, it is therefore now in the disease process. Right. And you never feel disease until you see the ramifications of it. Like you don't. The symptoms are just symptoms and fruit of a disease process. And so that's why it doesn't make sense to mask a symptom or put tape over your check engine light. Mm-hmm. It's about getting to the root cause. So, you know, that was 17 years ago, man. Today I'm healthy. I'm whole. I have 2 beautiful kids I was never supposed to have. I have one of the largest clinics in the world, helping hundreds of thousands of people, speaking over the world, TV, radio, wrote books. Like, when you look back, the most depressive, scariest, fearful time of my life. Horrible. Wouldn't wish it on anybody. Looking back is absolutely the greatest blessing and honor I was able to have the you know the just really the opportunity to have. And even when we're talking about a time like this with COVID-19, it's scary, it's fearful, but you know what? It's really eerie that I that's exactly how I felt when I was going through my health crisis. But now 15, 16 years later, or even sooner than that, I was able to look back and see how it was an actual honor. And it was actually a fast
Wow.
track to changing my life, a fast track to making change in my life, a fast track to allowing me to make a decision that changed the course of my life forever, man. Financially, business wise, family wise, health wise. It's really a blessing. I believe that everybody will see this time provide the same thing. Give it time, you'll see it. I know some people are like, how can you ever see um, anything positive out of this? You give it 5 years, look back, and you'll see that it changed the course of your life for the better. But like you said before, when we were talking before this, it's how you respond. If you run away from this, if you shy back, if you sit down, yeah, then you reacted to it, and this will be you could be a victim of this the rest of your life. But for those of us out there that are pressing forward, that are innovating, they're pivoting. It's giving us an opportunity to make those changes we wanted to make that we were too busy to make. This could be the beginning of an amazing renaissance that we have not seen in hundreds of years.
Wow. I'm just blown away with your story. Now, is it still there or is it gone? How
Oh
is,
no, man! I'm 100%. I'm not in remission. I'm 100% completely healed. And I'll give you a quick story on that. So at 35 years old, I was trying to get life insurance. Now remember, I had this at 26, right? So I was trying to get life insurance, and like, here's the thing. This is why you got to take care of your health. If you have any previous health conditions, you have a scarlet letter on you. So I'm trying to get life insurance. So this means like if anything happens to me, my boys and my family are taken care of. And they're like, we're not going to give you life insurance because you had ulcerative colitis. And as long as the fact that you even had that, you're done because it raises cancer rates 80%, right? 80% chance of cancer. So I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm on no drugs. I'm on no medications. My body is healed from this. It's not in remission. See, I hate when they say you're in remission because it's
right.
like saying, well, you still got it, right? So what I did is I went to a gastroenterologist and I said, hey, I'm 35. I want to get a colonoscopy. And he's like, shouldn't you wait till 50? I'm like, I'm 35. Let's do it. I'll pay cash. I don't want any anesthesia because they usually knock you out. And he's like, fine. So it was like real cheap. I paid cash. He did the colonoscopy. I saw the whole thing. And he goes, yeah, everything looks beautiful. So now I had a gastro, put it on paper, signed,
Wow.
perfect, no problem. And pictures and everything. Pictures of everything.
You're funny.
And I set him down. I'm like, listen, I go, I just need to tell you something that maybe I forgot to tell you. And I go, when I was 26 years old, I was a week and a half away of getting my colon entirely ripped out with ulcerative colitis. And they said it was incurable. And I was able to, through chiropractic and certain nutritional ways, be able to heal myself from it, from the inside out. And he was blown away because the same drugs and the protocol to treat this symptom of colitis that was done like 15 years before, it's still the same thing. So basically, he's like, there's been, out of all the money they raised, there's been zero adjustments to
Wow.
drugs or protocol. It was the same protocol, the prednisone, the same drugs, the same name. So it showed that like there's been nothing done to advance in it because there's no money in you being healthy. There's money in you being sick.
Mhm.
And so I had this report, man. I had pictures in a report. Zero signs of inflammation, zero colitis, Crohn's, blah, blah, blah. Like there it was. And I sent it to the life insurance company. I'm like, there you go. There's your proof. I'm not in remission. I'm
What they
healed.
say?
They said, good, we'll do it.
You
And
know,
so like, that's, I think, that's the other thing, because you understand, like people don't realize that you have a health condition, it will follow you and scarlet letter you for the rest of your life in future opportunities, even though you overcame it. And I really think it's tremendously unfair. But I mean, you got to understand these insurance companies and everything like that. They're dealing with a lot of sick people that it's not a wise investment for them. So yeah, so I do not have it. It was I don't even say I have a disease anymore. I usually say I had this experience.
I love it.
I had a health experience, man, about 17 years ago. It changed my life. So it was an experience I got to go through. It was never mine. And the reason why I say that, for those of you that are watching this, and I work, whether it be Regen or chiropractic, when I speak to people, they personify their condition. Well, my neuropathy. Well, my arthritis. It's like they own their
owning it.
condition. They're owning it.
And
It's their
they're actually speaking
significance.
to their body,
It's
their
the
mind.
suits. It's their secret identity,
Yeah.
basically. Like, this is my. So I didn't have colitis. I had an experience called ulcerative colitis. It was never mine. It was
I
an
love it.
experience I went through due to knowingly or unknowingly making what I would call errors in judgment on a daily basis that compounded to a disease process and blind spots. And so I went through this experience that I responded to it. I didn't react to it. I may have reacted in the beginning, but through this beautiful experience, I never would have been a chiropractor, dude. I never would have been in the health field like I am now. Like, it was a fast track to shift my life and my paradigm to bring me into a profession to make a huge impact on the world. So this is what I'm
Wow.
talking about. It's like these experiences for a lot of us might be like I say, I always use the word fast track of change in our life, or allow us to do something that we normally weren't thinking of doing, to take us on a totally different course that, looking back, has been the greatest blessing of your life.
This is awesome. And I'm going to say something to everyone out there. You might be in pain now, but it doesn't mean you have to. There's a few things that Dr. Chris said that we really need to capture here before we go into what we were going to talk about. This is not your neuropathy. This is not your cancer, whatever it may be. It's not yours. And we have to speak, because our words are life, everyone out there. And what we think is what we become. If you start thinking, this is my neuropathy, this is my hip pain, this is my whatever kind of pain you have in your body, it's not going to last forever. One of the things that I've learned is that your mindset will change your entire world. And not only that, guys, there's an old saying that I love to say, one of my favorite actors is, it's not about how hard you get hit, but about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. You do not give up. You were not created on this earth by God to give up. And with that being said, just thank you so much. Let's get into the nitty gritty about, regenerative medicine, why regenerative medicine and why chiropractic together are so important right now.
Well, everything is about your body healing from the inside out. And the future, drugs and surgery, they had their part and they played their part in the past. But science is seeing that the most effective way to getting people well, healthy, and restoring themselves from injuries and disease is by getting the body to be able to regenerate itself from the inside out, not from the outside in, not treating it from the outside in, and getting the body to do it on its own, right? So it's getting the body to regenerate itself from the inside out and looking at the cause of the problem. Because up until now, what has medicine been? Here's the symptom, which is just a fruit, check engine light, and they give you a drug to mask the symptom, but the root cause of the problem is still there. So I could give you a steroid shot in your joint, or we could give you some pain pills to help you, but the root cause is still there. So now that we took the batteries of the fire alarm, the fire's still there. So every single day, that problem continues to get worse and worse and worse. And of course, there's something called limitations to time and matter. I'll use the fire again. So if there's a fire in a building, there's come a time where the fire burns into those walls where the building collapses. There comes a time, if we ignore that engine, it's going to seize and be done. So that's why covering symptoms with any type of medications, it's just masking the problem as you still have it. That's why medicine and medical malpractice is the leading cause of death, more than heart disease and cancer as far as the amount of deaths. And it's not because of your medical doctor. It's because you've been given a drug or a surgery that never got to the root cause. So now the problem it's still there, getting worse and worse over time. So now medicine's like, listen, if we could get to the cause of your problem, number two, we could get your body to regenerate on its own from the inside out and start healing as it used to, then this is the answer to the future of science and medicine. And that's why regenerative medicine, along with chiropractic, that's the philosophy. Chiropractic is doing what? Well, the way I do it, we remove the interference from the nervous system. No one takes care of their spine, just like their teeth. Like your teeth, if you didn't take care of your teeth, they'd be all rotten. Well, your spine is more important than your teeth because you have nerves coming out of it, and the nerves are the lifeline. They communicate to every cell of your body to keep them healthy. Every cell has to tell your brain, here's the condition we're at, and the brain makes adjustments to keep it and give it everything it needs to heal and live longer and stay healthy and vibrant. So that's way more important than your teeth, but you can see your teeth, you don't see your spine. So that's maximizing the nervous system, which plain and simple maximizes every system in your body and your healing potential. But what I found with chiropractic, yeah, I could help your spine and I could help your organs, your body to heal its organs and function correctly. But what do we do for people who have, torn shoulders, elbows, carpal tunnel in the hands,
Bone on bone.
yeah, bone on bone in the hands, the hips, degeneration in the joints of the lower spine, cervical spine, knees, ankles, neuropathy. So now it's beyond the spine. It's literally wear, tear, and damage. You could see it on an X-ray or MRI. This thing is gnarly looking. Like you said, it's rubbing, it's destroyed. So now instead of surgery and opioids and all these other steroid shots, all these other things that really weren't helping, because 52% of knee surgeries need a revision within 1 year, 75% within 5 years. There had to be a better way. So I got into regenerative medicine because of my mom. Now, my mom was completely healthy. She's on no drugs and no medication. And she got in a little fender bender and hurt her right knee, banged it. And that right knee, I saw one right knee, one joint, absolutely disable, destroy my mom's quality of life, age her so quickly because she couldn't walk, it hurt, it was swollen. Then she compensated on the other one, and that one got back, like horrible. Then over-the-counter meds came in, then harsher medications came in, the steroid shots came in, then they wouldn't do any more of those. Then she's facing knee replacement, but at 80 years old, the doctor's like, I don't think knee replacement is a good job at your age for survival. And he's like, so the other thing we have is pain management, which is Schedule II controlled narcotics. Then you won't even have your lucidity. He's like, I don't know what to do. And this is a good orthopedic surgeon. See, he really cared. He's like, listen, these are just not good options. So like, we're going to have to manage the pain the best we can or limit your amount of motion. And so when you don't move, you're getting sluggish and depressed and gaining weight. You gain 40 pounds. It was a disaster. And so going from looking at knee replacement surgery, then I researched and I saw a video with Mel Gibson, the actor. He took his 92-year-old dad to get the Mayo Clinic gave his dad 4 to 10 days to live. So Mel Gibson's like, screw that. So he took him to a regenerative medicine clinic. They did the umbilical cord stem cells in his dad's hip. It was his hip. And not only was he able to start walking again, but other systems of his body started to right themselves. Other issues, heart and kidney and eyesight, they started to right themselves.
Right.
And his dad's going on 10 years. He's 102 in August. And it changed his dad's life. So when I saw that, I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. And within a year later, my mom was walking 3 miles a day, saying her prayers every morning, traveling, and back to better now at 82 than she was at 80. So I knew right away. See, Mark Anthony, when I do something, this is just a personal thing, so you guys could get to know me. I got into chiropractic. Why? Because I had a personal testimony and story. It changed my life, right? So that's why I got into it. I could speak about, and I really get into something that I have personal experience with. I'm not book smart on it. I'm way more. I have book smarts and experience of life on it. I know the pain. I know what someone's going through. So now when my mom had the issue with Regen Med and we were scared, and I thought this was going to be it. Like at 80, this is probably how she's going to go down and die. Right. To see her living a vibrant life, I have experience with this now. So I'm not just researched and book smart and know everything you need to know about it, but now you tie in heart, you tie in personal experience, you tie in loved ones. So I only do things that I could stand behind with personal experience and, like we were saying, evidence that's very close to our heart, and therefore I'm able to help even more people when I come from a place of personal experience.
It's funny that you say that about personal experience. It's funny how God uses these storms that come in our life to strengthen us and to give us new ideas. It literally pops something in our brain. I think what's interesting is that how I got into just loving chiropractic and regenerative medicine and neurology was I had a slipped disc and I was out of work for almost a year. It was so bad. I couldn't sleep on the bed. I was literally just sleeping on the floor. That's what was best for my back. And every doctor I went to, they just give me pills, medicine, and then they tell me to go to therapy. And then therapy is telling me to work out, try to get my core strong and everything. And I'm like, this is making me feel worse. I met a chiropractor and he goes, I want you to start, because he was adjusting me. He goes, I want you to start swimming laps. My God, have mercy. Within 2 weeks, I had no more pain. My back's no longer in pain. And then I see a chiropractor now three times a month. So I understand, because without that blood flow, everything stems from the spine. Without that blood flow, if it's not flowing and it clogs somewhere, what happens is you start to get pain in that direction, somewhere in there. Not a doctor, but from what I've learned from hanging out with you guys. Now, tell us a little bit about stem cell. Like, I see how it changed your mom's life, but how does that work? I mean, I know that noticed that you said about Mel Gibson, how it started going to different functions throughout his body and started healing him. How does that?
Beautiful. And I teach 5 seminars on this every single week. So number one, I want you to think a stem cell is a cell that replicates itself. And we're familiar with that. We had a stem cell from mom and a stem cell from dad. They came together, and in 9 months, look what happened. 70 trillion cells. And you can see not only do they replicate themselves, but when you look at your body, you have different tissues, right? All different. So a stem cell replicates itself. It also differentiates into different tissues. You can see you got your nails and your eyes and like different tissues. But what it also does, it regenerates tissue. It regenerates nerves. That's huge. So if someone has neuropathy or spinal pain or nerve pain, it regenerates the nerve. So if it's able to regenerate those nerves, what does that mean to that person's pain and condition? It regenerates capillaries. Now, capillaries deliver blood. What's blood have in it? Oxygen, nutrients, immunosystem factors. It clears away toxins. So it regenerates capillaries. Again, someone with neuropathy, there's hundreds of diseases that have blood flow issues, erectile dysfunction, lung issues. Like these, we all need capillary and proper regrowth of capillaries. Then for joints, it regenerates everything orthopedically. It regenerates the cartilage, the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, even bone density goes up through the roof. So I want you to think stem cells are your body's internal healing mechanisms. It's like if you're a foreman and you're about to build a mall, would you rather have 100 workers to build the mall or 10,000 workers? So the more stem cells we have, in fact, the specific one is called mesenchymal stem cells. The mesenchymal stem cells is the only one research that actually regenerates those areas. So these mesenchymal stem cells, all of us have. But as we age, they decrease significantly. And I think we could see that. When you're 5 years old, you cut yourself. What happens to a 5-year-old? It heals within 2 days. There's new skin, not even a scar. So see how quick that is. So for a newborn, for every 10,000 cells, there's one mesenchymal stem cell. But for a 50-year-old, it's 1 out of 400,000. When you're 70, 1 out of 2 million. So drastically, as we age, we have less mesenchymal stem cells. So therefore, we have less regenerating healing mechanisms doing their job. So that's why as we age, we degenerate more than we regenerate. So that's the key there. So, but they used to use stem cells, used to take it from your body, like your own fat or bone marrow. But the issue with that is as you got older, it was less effective and extremely painful. And it was coming from aging bodies. So now with the umbilical cord tissue, and let me be very clear here, umbilical cord is not the baby. A lot of people is like, are these coming from babies and aborted babies? No, not at all. In other countries, possibly, but not in the United States. It was never legal, nor would ever be legal. When you take it from the umbilical cord, now this beautiful umbilical cord is just a lifeline from mom to baby, and every substrate and material and molecule that had to go and create you had to pass through this beautiful little umbilical cord, which most of the times they threw away, right? So this has all the substrates, in fact, 440 therapeutic molecules that once inside your body, like growth factors that are build the protein scaffolding to regenerate tissue, and cytokines that lower inflammation, and hyaluronic acid that help with pain and lubricate those tendons and cartilage. These are also included with these as well. And so now when you put that younger, more powerful umbilical cord tissue into the 70, 90, 100-year-old, now we found, science found a way where your age is no longer the variable. See, age used to be the variable. So now we take age is off the table because you're putting the younger, more powerful cells into that knee, into that joint, into that hip, into that body. And now that area will regenerate just like it did when you were 5 and 10 years old. So this is how we're getting massive regeneration in 80-year-olds and 75-year-olds in neuropathy, or people, even 40-year-olds that joint's not healing, it's coming back. And the great thing about this, there'll be so much regeneration, it's a one and done procedure. So that, like even with chiropractic, you're coming back, right? Weekly or monthly, right? Well, here it's one and it's done. If you did that knee, it's a one and done. There'll be so much regeneration of the tissue and cartilage you will not be able to wear that out in your lifetime. So this has just been
Wow.
such a huge blessing, and it is so impactful, and the success rates are so high if a person's a candidate, and we go through a very specific process on that to see if they're a candidate or not. It's absolutely life-changing because, like, I'm just thinking, I keep on thinking of those neuropathy people. Horrible. I mean, they're getting toes amputated, feet amputated. They have pain and they're
They don't need
shuffling.
to.
Huh?
They don't need to.
No, and they're on gabapentin and drugs, and even the doctors are like, "Hey, listen, this is the best we got." I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, really, it's like they're impotent to be able to help them in a certain degree because they want to help them more, but this is it's the nerves are degenerating, the capillaries there's degeneration, and no drug regenerates, no steroid shot. In fact, steroid shots degenerate even more. That's why you want to stay away from them. So we finally found something, science found, where we could actually get your body to regenerate again by looking at the cause, and remember, the body's healing from the inside out. So just like chiropractic, what did I tell you that? You remove the interference from the nervous system so your brain communicates at 100%. So these stem cells in themselves are not intelligent. They're workers. Your brain tells them exactly what it needs to do. So when your knee hurts and it's in pain and there's inflammation, that's your brain saying, telling the body, heal that area, but it just does not have the workers or the staff it needs
Right.
to get the job done fully. It's doing the best it can. So now when we add the workers, the worker bees in there, the brain now is able to control that army, because people are like, well, how do these stem cells know just to heal my knee? Because the area of injury, your brain is always trying to heal that area. Your brain's looking for balance. So this is why we get the brain. So we're adding to the body what the brain always wanted to need or needed to help do the job to regenerate.
Are you saying this, and correct me if I'm wrong, please? So let's say I have inflammation in here, in my shoulder, it's bone on bone. So once you get that injection into your body, it's that inflammation acts like a magnet to the stem cell.
1,000,000%.
Okay.
You nailed it, because what is inflammation? It's an immune response of healing. You have pain because it's a response of healing. Pain and inflammation create the environment for the body to heal. That's why when you look at it, why would you take a painkiller or an anti-inflammatory or a steroid shot? It's going against the body. And I know it sucks. I know pain sucks. But pain is your friend, because pain does a couple things, right, Mark Anthony? It prevents you from doing more damage, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like it stiffens you up, so it's protecting you. But also that inflammation is signaling for more stem cells, for more growth factors to start growing in that area. So you got to see, even though pain hurts, it's your friend, and you got to honor the body, not go against it. But you're right. As we age, sometimes their inflammation, the pain's there, but the body doesn't have the proper workers to get the job done. And if it's not the amount, you'll still have the pain and inflammation because it's calling for them, but they're not there. And so now as we add the mesenchymal stem cells in there, they're ready to rock and roll. So even though we'll do locally in the joint, you're absolutely correct. But I tell patients, even though we do it locally, for the next 3 years, these stem cells are replicating and they're going systemic. Like they're going to attach that shoulder, but you got plenty now going systemic. And that's why we have reports of other areas of people's lives, issues righting themselves left and right at the same time their joints and their bodies are regenerating.
Wow, that's amazing. This is one of my favorite subjects because we're just barely touching the surface just on stem cells even right now. We're about 7 years in, right? 9 years in?
Well, no, it's been around for 25 years.
Oh.
And in fact, as we say this, China is doing stem cell therapy with all their elderly patients with corona. And within 3 or 4 days, these people are being discharged. So, and you're like, well, why? And I got to say again,
Wow.
It's not the stem cells. Watch this. It's giving the body the proper workers to get the job done because it modulates your immune system. See, inflammation is an immune response.
Wow.
Right? So when it modulates the immune system, that's why people in 5 days are like, wow, I feel great. It's not because you have new tissue. You feel great because it's modulating the immune system. It's controlling inflammation. And it actually takes, Mark Anthony, 3 to 9 months for that new tissue to develop. But that instantaneous modulation of the immune system is really what's allowing these people just to get over the hump to really be able to take control over that virus. And so that's why they've been using that with extreme success. And it's really beneficial. It's tremendous.
Amazing. Now, I have one more big question for
Yeah.
you. I had somebody just text me right now, and they're asking, how would that process look if they came to your office?
Right. So when
Or
you come in the office, we have two ways you could do it now, because we have an in-office, a very private in-office consultation, because we're still open. We're a primary health. We're an essential primary health care facility. So the government has deemed us to be open because we keep the hospitals from being overcrowded, and we could help a lot of people, which would they considered non-essential, because they're not even do surgeries for knees and stuff anymore. They're like, sorry, we need that bed open.
wow.
So normally, let's say you come into the office. You would come to the office. We have an entire system, very private, very, very sanitary for you guys. You meet with the case manager, and they'll sit down with you knee to knee, face to face, and they'll be able to determine, what's going on, if you could be accepted as a patient. We don't accept everybody. The reason why is because we want happy patients, and the only reason why you're going to be happy is if you're going to get better. So we determine, can we accept you or not? And at that time, now we got to determine, are you a candidate? Now, the
Right.
way we know you're a candidate is we don't guess, we test. So we'll take imaging of those areas, see what's going on, any other testing, neuropathy testing, whatever we have to do. We gather the information. Our medical team and the lab, they review everything, and they're able to understand, is this person a candidate or not?
Right.
If you're a candidate, and we believe you'll make amazing results, and you choose to move forward, and we choose to move forward with you, then at that time, we'll go over the recommendations of what areas of the body you'll be able to get, and then you could secure your cells. And for a lot of people, because we have people that travel in from all over the country and the world, even at that time, you could even get your procedure done that very same day. That's how instantaneous it could be. The procedure doesn't take long at all. It's just that consult takes a little bit longer because we're discovering everything. Like, you're not being told, you're discovering with the team. So you're on the proactive side. You're going to see all your stuff, and you control. It's your body, it's your health. You'll decide what areas that you would like to get done, the ones that you're candidate for. It's done through an ultrasound guided injection. Extremely important, because if you don't see the ultrasound, you see it live. For some of you have so much little disc space, it gets in there. It's a perfect bullseye every single time. And that's why we get amazing results. We have some of the best umbilical cord tissue cells in the world. We have a very specific process to determine if you're a candidate or not. And it's that ultrasound guided injection. It's a bullseye every time. You see it, and there's no downtime. You walk out with the Band-Aid, and here's all the things I ever heard. You might have a little bit of bleed in the site. That's why you wear the Band-Aid. 2, if you're on blood thinners, there may be a little bit of bruising, but you're already used to that if you're on blood thinners. 3, there might be stiffness in the joint because there's a healing reaction going on. That might be maybe 8-10 days of that. For our neuropathy patients, they'll say, I feels like someone's pouring water over my foot, or it feels like there's ants crawling on my foot. And that's more communication. And I'll tell them, listen, you didn't feel anything. I could stick a needle in you and you didn't feel anything. And they're like, so you mean my nerves are waking up? I'm like, now they're waking up. So it's a good thing. So this is where we have a 1-year follow-up of communication to make sure that you have a team. You never feel alone. And we'll do everything we can with you as a team to make sure you get the results you want. So that's the in-office. That's the in-office procedure. For whatever reason, I get it. If you're sensitive, if you don't want to do it, or if you feel like you're at a risk point, we actually can then do everything online. We could be able to send you a webinar or educational material that you watch. After you watch that, if you choose to move forward, you'll do a telecall, a webinar call or Zoom call with one of our case managers. We'll discuss your case. Then at the same time, if we decide that you're a good candidate, see, the procedure still has to be done one-on-one. Then you would come in just for the procedure. But as you come in for the procedure, that's when we'll do the imaging. And at that point, we'll determine what areas you're a candidate for, and you could get your procedure done that very day. So even if we do the telemedicine route, you would just be visiting the office one time, and you would be one of the only ones in the office. So the way we do our schedules now, it's like your show. You come in, and the entire team is there for you.
Amazing. That's wow. That's awesome. So after this blows over, I know that you do what, 5 seminars a week? Did you say?
Yeah, five or six talks a week all over the Houston area, and then we have for our patients around the country and around the world. If you go to our website, we actually have a free seminar. It's the actual seminar I do live, but in a webinar form, so they could actually watch that. And that's we have. I probably say it's probably maybe per week an 80% local, 20% out of state and out of country.
So you said there's a live webinar. Are we allowed to share that? Or is that?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you just go to Renew Life, Renew Life Rejuve, REJUV .com, and you'll see on the site, you'll see regenerative medicine. I have all the research there because I know I'm a big researcher, and I wouldn't do anything to my mom that I didn't research. So I have thousands of articles of medical art. This is not just Google stuff. This is not Google MD. This is real stuff, real research, and I put them in different categories. So if you have a condition, you click it. I have all the research there for you. So it's beautifully put there for you. In the middle on the website, you'll see free seminar. That's that seminar you could watch. And a free seminar that you could go to if you want to come locally. Then to the right of it, you'll see webinar, and you could sign up for a free webinar where you go through that webinar, and I will thoroughly, you will be more educated about this subject more than most, and we'll thoroughly go through that, and you'll have all the information you need to make a very accurate and intelligent decision to move forward.
I love it. So everyone, if you're in pain, I don't care where you're at. He has people Dr. Chris has people that fly around the world just to come see him. Why? Because it works. Go to renewliferejuve.com, correct?
Yes.
And on the right-hand side, I believe it'll say webinar. You can click and watch that. But before you do, he also has a list where whatever type of pain you're in, you can click on that and get more information. One thing I love about Dr. Chris is that's different from a lot of other doctors that I've had on the show is, come on, man, he helped his own mother out. I mean, that's huge. He not only had a sickness and didn't quit, he was able to find a cure. And then he saw that his mother was in pain and went after that to make sure he helped her. So everyone, I don't know, that hits my heart because I don't know about anybody else out there, but I'm close to my mother, just like Dr. Chris is. Guys, let's get this video out there. Let's share it. I don't care where you're at. Fly down, can see him. First, give him a phone call and go through his website. Anyways, thank you so much, Dr. Chris, for being here. It was a pleasure. You are a blessing, and to many others. And everyone, do not forget, at the end of this video, right when we're done talking, you're going to see live video testimonials of people saying how Dr. Chris Zaino changed their life. Anyways, everyone in internet land, God bless you all, and I'll see you guys at the next show.